Welcome to the Tomb of Illumination, people. Today's video I'm going to explain what a magnetic field is. It's never been explained before. Now, I've touched on this subject before, like a few months back I did a video, and I recently saw a video by Ken Wheeler where he mentioned the 3D S-curve. The 3D S-curve is like a full 360 rotation in a 3D S-curve. This is the cycle our stars take over one day, because it all comes from the vortex of creation. The vortex is turning, so it's a spiral like this. So things go up like this, one full 360 degree rotation, then they go back down, then back up, then back down. Now, Ken Wheeler is an expert on magnetism, and he helped me figure a lot of things out. But he's never gone deep enough. He's never gone as deep as what I'm about to go with you people today. What a magnetic field is, or what its cycle is, and how it's connected to our realm. You have to understand the flat earth model to understand all this stuff. It does not work on a ball. If you understand what a magnetic field is and its cycle and how it operates and everything, you come to realize it cannot work on a spinning ball earth. It's complete garbage. But it works on the flat earth. So you have to start opening your mind and understanding what the flat earth is and how it operates. So we go right back to the beginning, and you've got to bear in mind the Greek alphabet is basically a collection of the hidden symbols that describe creation. I've just recently figured out 3 of them, or 4 maybe, which is phi. You know what pi is. Pi, what's pi? Pi. And then we've got alpha. Alpha. Now alpha is the first letter of the Greek alphabet. It represents the first principle. The first principle of creation is a magnetic field cycle, which is a 3:2 ratio. This is a magnetic field. This is a magnetic field cycle. It's like this. You've seen the sun's analemma. Well, this is what it does actually. I'm not doing it right, am I? But it swings around the center point of the north. This is the northern hemisphere, and here, the wider dispersed southern hemisphere. That's the cycle here. Goes like this. So, the first principle of our existence is the duality, the dual system, a positive and a negative, and these are the two sides of the magnetic field, a north and a south pole. So this is the bigger field, this is the smaller choke field of the north pole. It's stronger force. This is the weak force. They know there's a strong and a weak force in physics. So this strong force is also described in the Bible. Of course it is, because the Bible is a metaphysical science book. It's mentioned as the beast. That's where all the energy is, around there. And this is the cattle. When they talk about the serpent, the snake, that represents the magnetic field of earth. Along the ground thou shalt go. This is a cross section of the earth. It's a tropical gap there. South, northern hemisphere in here. Along the ground thou shalt go, up and over the field. Fields, magnetic fields. Over the beast, or over the cattle. It's over the beast and the cattle, meaning the beast and the cattle, the two separate fields. Okay? So, phi equals 1 magnetic cycle. One cycle in infinity. One cycle. But these cycles are infinite around here. Forever flowing back into the, back into the north. And then you have to understand the Milky Way. The Milky Way is a bulge like this. The sun is tucked in here. It's tucked in like an eyeball. So it sits like that. Tucked in there like that, and it turns. Back at creation in the centre of the vortex here above the Arctic, it's vertical and it turns like this. And that sun, it's plasma in there, but you've got it's metaphysical. It turns, and that plasma follows the magnetic field. So this is what a magnetic cycle is. It's like this. This is the magnetic cycle. See the snake? We can see it like this as being the north and the south, but we can also just draw it so it's equal, like this. That is a magnetic field cycle. Now, looking at this, you have to realise there's a sun here and there's a sun here. So in our realm, if you look at it from one perspective, there's two suns. There's a sun there which follows this curve in the northern hemisphere, there's the tropics there, spirals out of the north like this, swings around like this, and this one spirals around like this in the south. So the only way to really understand that would be like if you were out at 60 degrees south at the same time as being, say, up here somewhere in the north, observing where you're seeing the sun in your arc of horizon overhead. So obviously at the two seasons, so if the sun's more out this way, and the December solstice is going to be low on the horizon in the north, but still, I mean, you can't have the sun overhead here and not far off overhead here. But another way would be if you looked at the solstices. The northern solstice, the sun comes out of the north, swings around like this to the east. So it comes from the northeast for the northern hemisphere, but then it comes around this from the southern hemisphere. So you can see it coming more north, not just east, at the solstice, which is a clue that it comes out like this. And in the southern hemisphere, it comes around more south than east, which is a clue that it comes around like this. This is all seen in, look, cultures all have these symbols. That's on the nose of the Māori. And here in New Zealand, there's his eyes. There's his face, mouth. Oh, sorry, that's printed on his nose. There's his nose. That's his nose. Things like that. So, understanding the magnetic field cycle. That's the cycle. Where it crosses here like this, so that's 1/2 actually. But then you've got the other one that comes back like this. There's always a counter force, but if you were to draw it properly, you would go, I'll show you, you would draw it like this. And then the other one would come out like that. Because this is the changing magnetic field. So this is vertical, but you put it across our Earth, this diagram here, and it's going to go like this. So it's the sine wave basic, isn't it? That one's dead. It's a sine wave, isn't it? So what's happening is you're going positive above the Earth, then it shoots negative below the Earth. Let's draw another pen. So we can go negative below the Earth, then back up positive, then it goes negative again. But it's basically along the ground. Along the ground thou shalt go. This is what you've got. So you've got this system here. This is the tropical gap, you see. That's the avoidance zone. This gap in this avoidance zone. So what's happening is the field will come over and bang, spin back the other way. To understand that, you need to go and look up three-phase magnetic induction motors, the 120-degree reverse cycle in the field. Why is it doing this? They don't actually describe. I don't think they say, but it's just the avoidance. You see, it's an avoidance zone. You've got to understand this dielectric avoidance zone in the tropics, where the field comes down, avoids this area, and then shoots opposite phase. You see what we're doing? Yeah, so just understanding it's the tropical gap, the avoidance zone. So it'll come down, comes down here, shoots over, and shoots in the opposite direction. Comes over, so this tropical 3D cycle. That's the 3D S curve. Ken Will even brought that up. So he's gone deep, but he doesn't go quite as deep as what I go, but he does have the verbal, he can explain it way better than me. He's got the words, okay? So this is what's happening inside the vortex of creation. The stars over the night will do this motion. They just spiral out, around and spiral back down. So back in the centre here, they're doing this. But then you've got to realise that's in the northern hemisphere. But the mirrored image out here in a bigger, wider, dispersed hemisphere is going to create this reflected out is going to create this model. Now some of you who are good thinkers might have to be a genius, but you're going to see that pattern in there, in the centre, reflected out onto this mirror, concave mirror you could say, or our dome, is going to create this. But man will be down here. He does not see that side of the earth because that's around the daylight side. So if you took all the star trails in a star trail photography and put, say, sigma octantas there, and you tracked one of these stars, one of these around here, don't start getting way out here. They warp away from you. Find something that's close. But you can't see it with the naked eye, obviously. You're going to need the camera. So you've got to try and pick one around about here, and then track it. If you could track the whole thing around the earth, it goes right round like this and comes back to the very same place the next night. It's only going to seem 4 minutes delayed from the sun because the sun shoots ahead 4 minutes quicker. That's another video I need to do. People can't get their head around that. No matter how much I explain how that system works, they cannot get it. It's like beating my head against a brick wall. So in my next video, I'll try and explain that and see if some of you understand it. Okay, so that's the cycle of a star. This is a star trail. You don't see them drifting out like this, going all the way around the earth, unless you use time lapse. There's a difference between star trail, because everyone has a star trail on his arc of horizon. Every man is inside his arc of horizon, he will see he will see this rotation dead south, and if he can see north, there's one to the north in the opposite direction. We all have this, but in star trail photography, but if you can at the same time use a star tracker, it starts going out here. So you can be still filming this circular motion, because you're on a spinning ball, remember? But hey, there's a star wandering off. All these stars wander off. They all wander off like this, all the way around the Earth. How does that happen? That's another 15-degree motion. Doesn't work on a ball, does it? No. You can't live on a ball. There's 100% proof you do not live on a spinning ball Earth. Everything else they say about the spinning ball Earth is mute until they can explain how that can work on their spinning ball. Everything else they talk about is mute. So you go and tell a spinning baller about this, then they start going on about everything else. Hang on, mate, I just told you, everything is mute if you cannot explain that. All the other garbage about the spinning ball is nonsense until you understand or can explain how this is happening. Does not work on a spinning ball. Even if you understand a magnetic field like this cannot work on a ball. Can it? There's your ball Earth. There's the tropical gap. If the magnetic field from south to north raced to each other, then they would find equilibrium. Nature is always finding rest. They would find equilibrium, find rest, and then everything would cease to exist. There has to be this gap, this dielectric gap of avoidance, where then it shoots back this way and then comes back around. That avoids there, that avoids there. But this is what the sun will follow, the magnetic fields. The sun follows that field. So it would be the same time all the way around there. No matter, you could be in South America, say, New Zealand's here, whatever. Anyway, it's still 1 o'clock, same time, all the way around that curve. This is your time zone. Okay? And whatever that is, it'll be the same time up here. It's all the same time. But the fields are continuously going around moving around the Earth. So when the Milky Way turns, the sun's moving around that field. So that explains day and night. See, spinning ballers want to know how to explain day and night. That's simple. It's stuck in the Milky Way like that. All the ancients wrote about it. Christ born in a manger is the sun in the manger, the sun in the Milky Way. Anyway, I've crept away from what is the magnetic field? What is the magnetic field? So phi, we know that's all about a circle, which is once again connected with, what am I doing? Connected with the flat Earth, isn't it? It's a circle. We've got phi, one magnetic cycle, phi, a 3:2 ratio. And what's the golden ratio? Golden ratio is the 1.618. You look into that, it's pretty close to that, isn't it? This is that cycle. Like this. That's the golden ratio, isn't it? Well, two of those create the moon cycle around the Earth. That's what the moon does over a month. It goes around every day, but as a whole, it does that over the month. Alpha, the first principle, a magnetic cycle, because I can't go much deeper than saying that the magnetic field is the two forces of nature. It's just it. That's it. the two forces of nature that come together. This is the X in Plato's dialogues, because there, bang, zippo, 0 point, is the plane of inertia, Earth is created. That's the black hole. The two forces of nature, north and south. But this, see, the other thing is, you've got to understand what a black hole is. A black hole is the avoidance zone. It's the 0 point. So there's the black hole, and all the action is around the black hole. All that action creates this image for our pupil. So what's the black hole? And then you've got your planets. They all have images too, because they're all 0 point. They're all 0 points. So basically, all the planets are all black holes as well, in their different frequency bands in the wave form, that the ecliptic plane wave, the strength of the wave determines the image. What have we got back here? What have we got? What's the picture of the black hole? Well, that's Earth, because Earth is from the black hole. The picture in here, that black hole, is the picture you see on the moon. Because the moon is the negative of the sun. So if you could dull the sun right down, I don't know how, you should be able to see the same image on the sun as the moon. So you've got to realise, understand the Milky Way. The black hole is at the end of the Milky Way. Let's say we've drawn the Milky Way. The black hole's down here of creation, has created Earth, but then at this end we have Earth, the created. Got a pile of dud pens here. The created, that is Earth. We have Earth, which is created, that goes into the tropical gap. Back in the centre Arctic here is the black hole. So there's creation, that's the created. The Milky Way, the sun we see as an image out here, which is basically one of these as well, is the image, but it comes from way back in here. Pure plasma is not seen. So this is like the umbilical cord from creation to the created. And we're told, spinning ballers are told and believe that we're in the Milky Way. No, they only said we're in the Milky Way because the black hole is at the end of the Milky Way. The ancients told us that. So the globies have tried in telling us that we're in the Milky Way. No. We're at this end of the Milky Way. We are the created from the black hole at the other end of the Milky Way. Just like you're created from your mother, you're the created, so you're the daughter. Because you're from your mother doesn't mean you are your mother. No, the mother is creation. You've been created. You're at this end of the Milky Way, in the created realm called Earth, from the black hole, from the mother. So, realise, all these planets are 0 points, just like the black hole with all the action around them. From the wave, from the ecliptic wave. The ecliptic wave that goes black hole, 0 point at the centre of the ecliptic plane. Okay? Wider, more dispersed, a bit like the shape of the Earth. See, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger as you go out from the centre. It's all to do with the wave. Back to the two forces of nature. We've come together to form Earth. Bang! It's created the plane of inertia. Earth is from there, from the hole. 0 point. That's why it's fixed and stationary. Look, it's jammed in that field there. Jammed there, fixed. It's not going to move. But you've got this field moving. You've got this field moving. Moving all around us. That's why all this, it's left. Then you go back to the vortex. Center vortex of creation. Which is basically the system. This is like a blown up version of 0 point, that X. Then to make it a little bit bigger, you end up having the vortex, because the Milky Way comes in like this, and then you've got this upward force being sucked in, meeting the warmer, because this is the warmer tropical air, and the cold coming up to meet it, right? So what happens when you throw hot water into the ice cold regions? It like turns the moisture straight away. This is what happens in our recycling system. Due to this warmer, slightly warmer temperature here, everything drips back down here into the Buford Gaia, which is fresh water. This warmth just turns the hydrogen molecule back into liquid. It's going off topic a bit. Anyway, what else can I say about the magnetic field of Earth? Apart from the fact it cannot work on a globe. So here's the picture, everybody. Now you know what it is. That's the half cycle basically. And then you have the other one. Realise there's a sun there and a sun there. But as an individual, we all have a sun on our arc of horizon, because it's an image coming out of there. On that curved path. Every man has an image of the sun on his arc of horizon. It's his individual perspective of the universe within his 180 degree arc.